And now, making their way into the arena, hailing from the great pro wrestling state of Massachusetts, they are the hosts of the Top of the Cage podcast. Here are Bill and Juice.
And thank you again, Rich Palladino, the voice of New England, always making us sound so good. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the super producer. I am Bill, joined always by my tag team partner, my wrestling confidant. He is the future booking genius and the prince of pro wrestling podcasts. He is Justin Juice Cannon.
Boom.
Baby. I don't know why we're questioning it this time around, but one thing that should not be questioned, Juice, is we have a high caliber guest on tonight. He is Thomas Santell, somebody that has been around the block a time or two in the wrestling industry, doing tours for WWE, going across places like Japan and all over the world. And now he is one of the head trainers at the Beyond Institute of Wrestling, which is fodder for the Beyond Wrestling brand, Wrestling Open. And as Tom will describe in the interview too, the people that he's going to be training and the things they're learning is all from what he's learned across the world, as well as the other trainer. You might know him better as Kenny Dykstra. And yeah, I am so excited for our guest to hear this interview, because truly Tom has been one of the most insightful guests, and the way he talks about the Beyond Institute of Wrestling is just killer, stellar. I'm so excited for these students there.
Me too. I really like to hear him talk. I was pretty quiet for this one because I just kind of wanted to hear him, what he had to say and everything that he's doing with the school. And I'm also excited to see what he has in plan for as a wrestler in Wrestling Open and beyond too. He's doing a great job training people, but he deserves to spotlight himself again too. Now that he's just a few years ago, he really found this Thomas Santell character, and he was really excited talking about Thomas Santell and the fancy nerds and just what he's all about right now. So I hope he gets the best of both worlds, training and wrestling.
Yes, and we will not hold you back from this interview any longer. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is Thomas Santell.
Hello, Top of the Cage listeners. I am Juice, joined by my tag team partner, Bill, as always. And we got another interview for you. And it is the Retro Grappler himself. It is Thomas Santell, the new one half of the new trainers of the new Beyond Institute, associated Beyond Wrestling, and also one half of the Fancy Nerds tag team.
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me.
So just to kick us off, can you just tell the listeners that might not be familiar with you just a little rundown on your career and how you got into wrestling and just the general stuff?
Sure. Many people might know me previously as Antonio Thomas, Promise Thomas. I started in 2001 at Killer Kowalski's and worked my way up through the New England Independents, Northeast Independents, got signed by WWE 2004, went to OVW, was in a tag team there called the Heartbreakers, got called up to Monday Night Raw and was in a tag team called the Heartthrobs with Romeo Roselli, who I knew and who trained out here with me and with a bunch of us as well. Was there from 04 to 06, and then did the independent scene for, pretty much since then, but did some stuff for TNA in 2007, did some stuff, did a lot whenever Ring of Honor was in the Northeast here from about end of 2008 to 2013. And then did Japan, all Japan, lived and trained there off and on in all Japan from 2008, 2010, and just started training, traveling the world, going to Puerto Rico, go to England, going to Europe, Italy, just putting those pieces of the puzzle together kind of after WWE. So it's kind of like a career in reverse. And just started training under different people, obviously Lance Storm, Steve Bradley, Danny Davis, and Jim Cornette, along with Lance Storm and OVW, learning under them, learning under Paul Heyman for a little bit there, going to All Japan, training with Kaz Hayashi. And this is when Muda owned it and ran it. So he was always coming in and out of practice in the dojo, training with Les Thatcher, Terry Taylor, Dr. Tom Pritchard. So just learning, and then incorporating my love of martial arts and jiu-jitsu and striking and boxing, and just kind of putting it all together throughout my career, which eventually 2016 kind of came together with Thomas Santell. For 10, I was a outrageous Jersey Shore kind of heartthrob, flamboyant type thing with the heartthrobs. 10 years later, I become Thomas Santell. So it was kind of in between. I was just kind of lost. I was just a guy who was a solid worker, good technical wrestler, but just a guy in tights. They kept trying to throw different looks and gear and different hairstyles at the wall and stuff, trying to find something that stood out. Then the Thomas Santell thing came because people kept saying I looked like George McFly with the way I had my hair, and the fans started saying that and chanting it. And so I was just like, I had some friends who were just like, just go with it, just have fun. And it fit. It was natural, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me in my career up until that point, and since then.
And that's a hell of a career. I mean, you even named some of the most legendary people in the wrestling business that you've been able to be under the tutelage of and learn from. And I think for you as a trainer at the new Beyond Wrestling Institute, that is just caliber and caliber and caliber. And it speaks so much to yourself and the credibility of the school as well.
Yeah. And Ken, when you have multiple people involved in something, it's important. Any organization, you need organizational alignment. You need everybody on the same page. And Ken and I started at Killer Kowalski's. We came up through the independents together. We both went to OVW a month apart from each other in 2004, went to WWE the same time. So he started in Beyond the same time I did in 2019. So our careers have kind of followed each other's. I didn't get to work with, he came up in a main event spot. We didn't. So he had that lucky bastard get to work with Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Cena. We didn't get to do that, but we each have different experiences and people we learn from, but it's the same thing. And we're both in lockstep, and we bring the same mentality, but we bring a different set of experiences. And him being now with WWE as a producer, he's around it all the time with the best in the world, and he brings that knowledge. And I think we learn from each other, and I know I learn from him just in these couple weeks of training.
Yeah, and of course, let's get into a little bit about the Beyond Wrestling Institute itself. So tell us a little bit more about the Beyond Wrestling Institute for somebody who might not be familiar with it.
So Beyond Wrestling's been around, I believe, since 2009, and then they started running in Worcester weekly with Uncharted Territory, and then they branched off and created Wrestling Open last year, which kind of took over where Uncharted Territory was running weekly. Now it's Wrestling Open, and they've been running out of the White Eagle Hall in Worcester. And Drew Cordero, the owner of Beyond Wrestling and Wrestling Open, and who helps run IWTV, came to me earlier in the year, asked me about doing some, starting a training school or program or camp, and everything was there in place. But I got a son who's going to be 17 months. And at the time, just with where he was at, where we were at, my wife and it was before I came back to wrestling in April. So it just wasn't the right timing. And then Ken called me in September and said, "Hey, let's do this. I want to get together with Drew and do this. And I know you've talked to him before. Everything's aligned." Ken lives about 15 minutes from me, and we're each about 15 minutes from the school. So it'd be asinine not to do it, and just to help new people, help groom and train new people, and then the existing people within the area, within the Northeast, just helping them and them helping us, learning from them and keeping us sharp. Because going over, I know when I was coaching kids jujitsu and martial arts, it made my martial arts better. In real life, being a health and PE teacher helps keep my health and helps me get my steps in and helps me, my basics of nutrition and exercise, brush up on those. So it's no different training wrestling, and whether it's teaching bumps or polishing up existing workers, it helps us as well. And it's great for everybody.
Yeah, I know that's one of the draws of the Wrestling Institute, it seems, is it kind of welcomes anybody at any sort of experience level for wrestling.
Yeah.
And if somebody was deciding to start training to be a wrestler and they didn't have any prior knowledge or any prior training, what are some things that you would want them to know ahead of time?
It's going to be tough. It's going to suck at times. You're going to get bumped. You're going to get bruises. You're going to get bumps. Hitting the ropes, that's steel cable. The ring is steel and wood. Your body, even just doing training, your body's not going to come out better than when it went in. There are things, Ken and I have wrestled for over 20 years each, and we both still in great shape and we feel great. So it doesn't mean that you're going to completely wreck your body and not be able to walk, but you're not going to be, trust me, my shoulders, from 20 years of wrestling and grappling and all that, and lifting, they feel it and they certainly get cranky. So know that you're going to work hard. You're going to be doing things that are not normal, falling on your back, hitting ropes, flipping and landing. But there's nothing like it. There's no exhilarating high like it. Once things start clicking and start rolling, it's up to you. The work you put in is, you get out of it what you put in, and you don't have to, just give your all. Just give your all, work hard, be humble. Not everyone, you don't have to want to be, in WrestleMania. You might just want to do it just to do it at a local level, or just to try it out. But it's not a Planet Fitness membership. It's not doing a cardio kickboxing class. It's serious. We train seriously. There's no 500 squats or whacking you with a kendo stick in your stomach doing abs. And so there's no anything like that, any horror stories you hear, Jane stretched on the mats or anything like that. It's a positive, nurturing atmosphere, but we work hard and just prepare your body for it. But it will be, if it's something you love and it's something you want to try, it will be worth it. And whatever investment you put into it, time-wise and financially, it is serious, but there's nothing like it. It's the best thing. It's given me everything I've met. I've got everything I have through wrestling, in one way or another. So it can lead to a great life. And there's ways, there's ways to, if you want to be a referee, if you want to do the production side, video editing, camera work, commentary, it's all right there, whether it's with Ken and I, whether it's with Drew or Paul Crockett doing the production part or the commentary part, reffing, doing, what, even if you just want to be on the street team and poster for the shows, be on the social media team. There's a spot in the band, a spot on the team for everybody. You don't have to be the main event of Wrestling Open or Beyond Wrestling or WrestleMania to contribute here at Beyond Wrestling, at the Beyond Insititute and IWTV.
Awesome. I'm excited to see what direction you guys go in. But so now that we're a few weeks into Beyond Insititute, is it a good mix of newcomers to wrestling and current wrestlers, or is it a little lopsided a certain way?
Absolutely. No, it's Tuesday night we had about 25 people. Half of it was new trainees, half of it was workers. Every week we have Channing Thomas, BRG, Jalen Brandon of Waves and Curls, and guys like Channing and Brett. They leave their egos at the door. They cannot be nice people at times. If you watch Wrestling Open or you go to see them on indies throughout the Northeast, they leave their egos at the door. Brick City Boys came on Tuesday as well. They leave their egos, their attitude, any gripes, any anger that they have. They're there to learn, and everyone's there. Experienced workers. Little Mean Kathleen came by last night. Who else was there Tuesday? Brad Hollister was there. Alex Cipher, manager, was there. I'm probably forgetting. I know I'm forgetting a couple people. Johnny Rivera, Wild Hound, is always there training, getting better, improving so much. So we have a lot of local workers coming in. Jay Hulu coming in, leaving the egos at the door, learning, helping each other, helping the newer trainees, and in turn the newer trainees learn from those guys and girls what we do in there. And then Wednesdays we have about a handful, maybe 5 experienced workers. And we have some more time dedicated to the 10 to 12 new trainees we have. So it's still a mix. One of us with Ken and myself, one of us is in the ring, one of us is out, whether it's working on some stand-up stuff on the outside, doing in-ring drills, going over character or promo stuff, watching matches with experienced guys while newer guys are in the ring. A little bit of everything. It's really a perfect mix, and we want to keep that going. And we invite more area workers to come and learn. We had one half of the Haven, Sean Knight, come up last week. Getting those guys like Brick City Boys, Jay Hulu from New Jersey, from New York, to come, and Kurt Robinson, who's been on some opens, has been there the last 2 Wednesdays. And just inviting people from other schools, whether it's Creative Pro, Wrestle Pro, Damian Adams School, NEPWA. We're here to better independent wrestling and New England wrestling and just wrestling in general. So come one, come all.
And I have to ask, because it seems like you're a very clearly passionate person about this. As a trainer, what's something that's like the most rewarding thing?
It's hard to pick one thing. I think it's when you have people, workers, confide in you and, kind of, we become like a father figure to them or a big brother. I probably could be some of their father to some of them. But when they thank you and they shoot you a text or they ask you to watch their match, and that makes you feel good. It makes you know that you're doing something right. And in turn, they make me better. They push to make me better. I know I've got to be at a higher standard when I get in the ring, and I can't look like shit. I can't go in there and suck, because I got to set an example for those guys and girls. And so when I see, whether it doesn't matter the experience level, but them reaching out and asking me for advice, thanking me, working on stuff and seeing them implement that makes it all worth it. There's it's very stressful to coach and to teach and run a class, because you have people's careers in your hands, and you want to steer them the right way. You want them to steer around and navigate around the mistakes that I made, the things that maybe I did wrong or could have done better. And so, but it's at the end of the day, it's those things that make it awesome and make it all worth it.
So now that you're still, getting your legs, still starting out, and I can't, like I said before, I can't wait to see where it's going. But what are some things that you and Ken and Drew would like to incorporate that you can't right now because it's still young, but would like to incorporate into the school once it gets going?
Bringing in more established people for seminars, bringing in people that we know and run other successful schools, to whether it's a Mike Mondo down at NYWC, a Damian Adams, a Brian Myers, bringing them in and having them give their taste, their flavor of ice cream as to how they view pro wrestling and how they teach it. Just continue to grow it and do what we've done these past 3 weeks, and just create opportunities for people like the Alec Prices and the Ichibans and the Miracle Generations that have really, Channings and Bretts and Stetsons and Clancy's, Ray Jazz, all those guys that the last year through Wrestling Open and beyond have really, come to the forefront of the indie scene. Just create opportunities for those who are hardworking and want to learn and get better, and just make it the best school possible we can. Obviously, yeah, you want to make money, you'd love to just do this for a career, have a school and a promotion that makes money. But as I said, it was those things I said before about helping others and that rewarding feeling when you see them blossoming and getting better and believing in you, believing that what you're saying and what you're teaching them is working. That those things matter, and just continue to do those things and grow in every aspect, in numbers, in people that help out, have experienced veterans from the area come and help out, and just make it one big jam session, one community of wrestling goodness.
I am all for that. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Love that so much, honestly.
Doesn't matter doesn't matter if you're from another school or you train, you can learn something from everybody. And I would train everywhere when, with Steve Bradley go up to, when Kowalski's moved to Chaotic, I would go up there. I trained in Springfield with, Smart Mark Sterling. We had our first match together, and Romeo, my partner, tag team partner in the Heartthrobs, train with Maverick Wild, going, just wanting to learn as much as you can. And there's no just breaking that mold of, this is the way we learn in this school and this is the learn. Yeah. It's like, not that there's any places like that, but just learning as much as you can and getting as many perspectives as you can. And we want to offer our perspective and bring yours, and just let's make it good and get better, help each other out.
Well, one thing that's undeniable about the Beyond Institute Wrestling is just the caliber and the the authority that Beyond really has within the indie wrestling world. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
a big reach in IWTV and just across the country. So with the new institute, how will that change things in Beyond Wrestling and Wrestling Open? Will we see more of the kind of homegrown talent be featured there, or do you think that maybe it's just more of getting them opportunities wherever they can?
I don't know. I think Beyond's going to continue. I think they're each going to continue to do what made them successful and what makes them successful. Drew, I mean, you look at the people that have worked for Beyond over the last 15 years or so. I mean, they're all in AEW, WWE. They're all doing good things. They're all or at the forefront of the independent scene. So, like, who hasn't worked for Beyond at one point or another? And just a couple of years ago, go look at those uncharted territories. Look at everyone that was on there. And look at Wrestling Open. Look at what the people that have what Wrestling is Open has become in a year. And there's no limit to the opportunities that can be had. We're gonna coach and teach the brand new guys and the workers, the existing workers, the best we can, and everybody's going to be better off for it. And just to make the best product we can for our school, for Open, for Beyond, and for any independent, any show, any promotion that are the people we train and have a hand in helping work for. So I think it will create a better pipeline. There'll be a pool of homegrown talent for Beyond and for Open to choose from, and more importantly for those new trainees to learn from and to be around, come into the shows every week, helping out, help set up the ring, help running any errands, being or seeing the way the established workers conduct themselves, and just learning from them in every aspect in and out of the ring.
Yeah, and that's great. Wrestling is definitely one of those industries that's built on respect, and kind of hearing that's kind of trickled down to the guys that are training, guys and girls that are training. It's really great to hear.
Yeah.
And although it's only been running for a handful of weeks at this point now, are there anybody that you've been seeing training that you're like, oh, you guys should keep your eye on this guy?
No, I mean, everyone comes, everyone has a great attitude. We have a great camaraderie. We have a great group. You can see the pictures. Every week there's pictures posted of the classes on Twitter, on Instagram. I think maybe the first day I told the guys and girls, I said, usually when you get a group of 10, 15 people, you're going to have people that drop out. You're going to have, people that stay the course, but usually you're going to get a couple people that really do some stuff. And I'm positive we're going to have people, whether it's at the local level or national level, there's going to be some people. I'm not just talking 1 year, 2 years. I'm talking, we have some people that love wrestling. They have a love for wrestling and they work hard. And if they continue with that, not 1 year down the road, 2 years down the road, but 5 years, 10 years, like Ken and myself, 20 years, they're going to be doing some good stuff in wrestling. And I don't know who it's going to be, but I can guarantee you there's going to be a handful, at least a handful from this group we have that really do some good things. And there's going to be the workers we already have. Some of them I mentioned, they're going to be like the uncharted territory was in 2019. They're going to be, they're already there. They're already the Channing Thomases, the Little Mean Kathleen's, the BRGs. They're already doing WWE work and on AEW Dark. So it's just a matter of time before they pop off. And I think they should already, so, and I think there's others that are fantastic that should be on a national level. And I think you will see them.
Yeah, I mean, we are very, very excited to hear that. And, as we kind of approach the end of the interview here, I think one thing's for certain, at least from my standpoint, the amount of passion and just the way and just seeing how you're talking about this too, it makes me very excited to see what this next generation, these group of talent that are coming through the Beyond Institute right now are going to accomplish within the wrestling world. Like both you and Ken, the caliber of talent you guys are. And as I said, the way you're describing everything, it just seems like it's such a great environment. And for anybody wanting to learn, it seems like it's a great place to be.
Yeah, and we offer, like, trust me, we've each had unique experiences. Like I've been in a lot of tag teams. I've been in, and they couldn't be any more different. The Heartthrobs, then Nerd or Death Kill with Nick Gage, then Fancy Nerds with Ryan Clancy, then, just as myself, and then doing just as Antonio the Promise Thomas in many different forms. And then Ken, same thing, came up as a serious, young, up and coming, wrestler. Then he's in the Spirit Squad. Then he's just Kenny Dykstra. Then he's Angry Ken Doane and beyond, and now a producer in WWE. So we've all evolved and changed so much. So we've seen all those perspectives, and we can tell you to watch, Pat O'Connor versus Buddy Rogers and break that down. We can watch, some UWFI, Suzuki versus Shamrock, and break that down. We can watch Kamala versus Georgie Animal Steel and take you, explain stuff like that. Kurt Angle versus Eddie Guerrero. It doesn't matter, Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express. We have a hand and we know someone personally, or have something in a lot of these matches, or know someone that was a part of these matches, or learn stuff directly related to all these different ways that you can present wrestling. And I think that, that is, in the long run, I think it's kept us in this business, having to evolve and change and learn every style, learn every aspect, for over 20 years, and to help others be in this business as long as they want. Ken and I are still both young, and I'm not done wrestling. I love wrestling. I'll never stop wrestling. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it full time, but I still have a lot to prove. But I also have a new chapter in my career, being a coach, eventually I'd love to dip into commentary and booking and just do it all. And I've coached before. I've had my own ring before. I've trained Big Bacon, Brad Hollister, and some others in the New England area. But I miss it, and I love doing it, and it feels right to be doing it again, and giving back. And I'm just, I think you can tell I'm excited about it.
That you can show that in spades, honestly, and that's what makes me so excited about it too, and definitely so excited to see everything that you, not only yourself but the Beyond Institute of Wrestling, has coming up too.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. And as we wrap up the interview here, Tom, we like to let our guests have the last few minutes to plug and promote anything they have going on, be it social medias, appearances. For you, I'm sure it's going to be about the school. So with that, the floor is yours.
Yeah, Beyond Institute of Pro Wrestling. Follow them on Twitter. I think it's Bio Pro Wrestling on Twitter. Just Beyond Institute of Pro Wrestling. You'll find it on there. Beyond Wrestling, also follow them, and Wrestling Open on Twitter. If you're interested in beginning training, if you are an experienced worker and you want to come down and train, email beyondwrestling@gmail.com. Hopefully you have this right below on the bottom of the screen, beyondwrestling@gmail.com. Email there, get in touch, come on down and train. You won't regret it. It'll be fun. It'll be a great time. You'll learn. We'll all learn. Retro Grappler on Twitter. Don't worry about following me. I'll keep people posted on stuff. I got some stuff coming up. Don't worry. You'll see me very soon in Wrestling Open and beyond. So I don't know when, but just stay tuned. But until then, come down, contact beyondwrestling@gmail.com. Come down to the school Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, train with Ken and myself and a whole bunch of other great talent and young up and comers, and it'll be great.
That all sounds so great. And again, thank you so much for your time tonight. Not only was it a pleasure, but it was an honor talking to you too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you guys.
And that was an interview with Thomas Santell. Now it's just me and Juice. I'm Juice. It's me and Bill. It's Juice and
Well,
Bill.
apparently
Juice.
I'm Deuce now. Juice is trying to get me to have the nickname Deuce, but I think that would be kind of cool because we would be Deuce and Juice or Juice and
Juice
Deuce.
and Deuce. Oh, Deuce. Well, that was a great interview with Tom. Awesome school. I was when they came out with the news that they were coming with the school, I was like, cool. I can't wait to see who they'll have training. Maybe Drew. I know Drew has a little wrestling experience, but then now it's Santell and it's Kenny Dykstra. I was like, that's perfect. Those are two just seasoned veterans who's been literally everywhere. So big things coming for the Beyond school and just Beyond as a whole.
Yeah, and I think Tom said it best too. Like, it doesn't matter how much experience you have, what you want to be it a referee, manager, behind the scenes worker. If you guys are interested in the wrestling industry, go out there and take it. Even if you're not from the New England area and you can't go to schools like Beyond or NEPWA or any of the other New York schools like Creative Pro, anything like that, definitely see what's around you. There's a ton of great talent across indie wrestling and just wrestling in general that have some amazing schools out there. So there's almost no excuse to get into it if you don't want to. And I think that the Beyond Institute of Wrestling is one of those schools that's going to put themselves on the map pretty quickly and, just produce some of the best talent we've seen. Because as I said plenty of times in the interview and even told Tom off air, the passion that he just exuded, like you can just see it in his face when he was talking. You could hear it in his voice when he was talking. And those are the interviews that are always the most fun for me because I love bouncing that energy back off the person, really getting them going about being excited about this, because truly it's something to be excited about. They're doing great work so far in the handful of weeks they've been running. And I think it's just only going to get better. And if you have any thoughts or opinions on this episode, or maybe you have questions on where you can get in contact with Beyond Wrestling, if you are interested in starting the school, you can contact us on social media. Of course, the links are also going to be in the bottom as Tom plugged during the episode too. But Juice, let the people know where they can find us on social media.
You go to the Twitter, you type capital T, capital O, capital T, capital C, _ capital P, lowercase o, lowercase d. That's a Twitter handle. Instagram, it's TOTC _POD. It's the exact same, but I'm saying it twice, but it's all lowercase this time on the Instagram. So give us a follow and let us know those things that Bill just said.
So nice. Gotta say it twice. And yes, as we come crashing down to the map on this episode of Top of the Cage, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. And if you are listening to us on Apple or Spotify and you do not leave us a 5-star review, that means that you, specifically you, that person not leaving us that 5-star review, will not get 5-star content. And that is just a fact.
The fact of life.
Man, again, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.